Welcome back to Heart Path Podcast. I'm your host, Terra Kenzie Longacre, adventurer, author, transformational and spiritual embodiment coach, and retreat leader. In each episode, we will explore topics around spirituality, empowerment, divine embodiment, resiliency of the human spirit, heart-based business, and beyond. Our guest for this episode is Lorie Ladd. Lorie Ladd is a best-selling author and spiritual teacher specializing in the evolution of human consciousness. Her teachings and guidance have helped millions of people navigate the current planetary shifts and remember the divine design held within the human experience. In 2022, Lorie published her first book, The Divine Design, which has become an international bestseller. Designed to be a lifetime companion, the book reveals the untold story of Earth's and humanity's evolution and consciousness and provides some much needed tools for navigating the current planetary awakening. Welcome to Heart Path Podcast. We have a very special guest for this episode, Lorie Ladd, who is a best-selling author, spiritual teacher, and has helped millions of folks navigate in all of these planetary shifts that we've had. And you can find more of this information in her book, Divine Design. But I just have to say thank you so much for being here. And I don't even fully know how I found you. Social media, somewhere in the ethers. But it's been so wonderful to be able to watch your content and even see how things have shifted and transformed quite recently. And I've been loving it. So welcome, Lorie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Tara. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. Yeah.
So for folks that might be new to you, could you share a little bit of information about yourself and your journey of even entering being a spiritual teacher and guide and support, essentially?
Yeah. I knew at a very young age that I was going to be helping humanity go through this transition, this shift in consciousness. It was like in me, just sort of like the way you kind of know what your name is. It was just a knowingness that I had. But I put it off most of my life. I had a very spiritual mom. And so she would take me to all these really kind of out there at the time, back in the late 80s, early 90s, like UFO conferences and just wild stuff that 15-year-olds were not going to. And so I was open to, I was kind of thrown into this other world that was this other spiritual world, but very new agey. And it wasn't until, so I came and went throughout my life, kind of diving into that, but just keeping it really secret into myself. And it was about, let's see, what year was it? 2014, when I was like, all right, I said to myself, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to do whatever it is that I am here to do. And I didn't have any idea. And so it just sort of started to unravel, and it was very much around channeling, working with someone's higher self, galactic beings, very different than sort of where I find myself right now, which is all, I just love how this works, because I have always allowed myself to let whatever arise. Whatever's arising is what I'm going to follow. Whatever resonates, I'm going to follow. Whatever feels right, I'm just going to follow, even if it doesn't make sense. And so I started in this really just very spiritual kind of space. I wrote a book that was channeled, which is a great book. The book is incredible.
Divine Design.
Yeah, the book is incredible. But what I started noticing myself doing around 2022, I really, I was teaching about the evolution and energy and consciousness, and showing up every day during COVID for 2 years. And I really got burnt out, and I couldn't keep doing kind of the work I was doing, that more esoteric kind of, it wasn't resonating, but I didn't know why it wasn't resonating, right? But I was like, oh, I just don't want to do this anymore. It didn't seem like it mattered. Um, and I started to date this guy who was very much into non-duality, awareness. And I was like, this sounds like, I mean, I've been teaching about this, but this is interesting. So I spent a year going into like awareness practice and non-duality. And I went real deep into that place. And it was in 2023, because again, my work just wasn't resonating with me.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
I don't want to keep doing this even for the money. Like I can't do it. Um, it just was not in alignment. And so I remember it was June or July of 2023. I was in my bathtub in the daytime. And for whatever reason, I was like, Jesus, I want to try to live as close to the way you lived as possible. Like, I don't want to die not trying to reach some state of awareness that you had. And so I was like, I'm committing to following you. And I wasn't doing it from like a religious, like
right.
at all. I was like, dude, you're the bomb. Like you were God informed. Like you are the teacher of all teachers,
Yeah.
really human teacher. But I didn't know what that was going to do to my life. Like I had no idea. I just thought I would be like a side hustle, like I would just be like, yeah, I'm not going to share it with people, or like my life's not going to change. And my life started changing. I look back and I'm like, wow, like my life has really changed a lot, like 360 or 180 degrees, in the sense that, I don't channel that much anymore. I don't talk about galactic stuff. I'm very, I feel like I have like the Holy Spirit in me now. Like I feel like people look at me and they just feel that I'm different. All I want to do is help people get out of suffering and navigate this life. It's all I want to do. And so there's a softness that's come over me. And it's truly because of Jesus. And, it was when I was in Kenya most recently, that it was like, girl, you're going to have to start talking about this. And I'm like, no, no, like, no. He's like, yeah, you're going to have to. And so I just slowly kind of started to share him. And it's felt so good. It's felt so freeing. Um, to really just share who he is to me and how he's changed my life, um and just the humility of recognizing that we do need help, like we need help, and not help like, yeah, like Jesus has really, I just have no words. And it's so fascinating to see the whole planet sort of shifting into this kind of
Yes.
consciousness. I'm like, whoa, this is wild. Like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, so it's been a really interesting journey for me, and I just keep saying yes, and I just keep having the courage to, for whatever reason, it's been difficult for me, and I think it's because I came from such a new age kind of
Yes.
realm where it's very triggering for people, which I completely understand. So I'm sensitive to that, and I'm doing my best to sort of bridge those two worlds. It's not separate. It doesn't have to be separate. So it's been really, really fascinating. And I'm just so grateful for all of it and everything that's been unraveling. But that's kind of my backstory.
Mm. Well, can I say Jesus is the reason we're even here right now?
Yes. It's so true.
Why this even happened, because I I feel like even almost around the same time that was happening in my life, but then I was seeing you starting to share about it, and it was refreshing, to know that there is this revival in a sense that's happening, and it doesn't have to be okay, not to place any judgment upon anything before I say this, but it doesn't have to be connected only to religion, or, what
Yeah.
is bound to that, and to be open to having that relationship and allowing yourself to let go of because you're right, people do get triggered. I used to get triggered as
Me
a
too.
kid.
I
Yes.
did too. I would be like, why are they talking about Jesus like that? And like, he's not like, he's like, I would just get so
Yeah.
triggered by it. Yeah. I totally get it. Like, I'm like, I get it. I get it.
So how has that even been for you? Because that is a big transition. And even as you were sharing, like for work, how things were shifting, like I see you. I see you. I'm like, me too. How
Yeah.
has that been for you? Because it is it is a big change. And yes, they don't have to be separate, but at the same time, when you are spending more time having that connection, there does become space between the worlds as well. So how has that been for you? And I feel like as much as people have been triggered, you are getting love and you are getting support, and that's helping other people as well.
Yeah, like I get so many messages now from people that are like, "Thank you so much. You have sparked you've opened up my relationship again with Jesus. Like, thank you so much. I feel I've never seen Jesus in this way before." Like, it's really opening people um in ways that I just had no idea. I just really had no idea. Um, but I forgot what the question was that you were asking.
Good.
What
Like
did you ask?
transition. How has that been for you to transition?
Oh,
Because it is, it's like, it's a jump, it's a leap of faith, it's a becoming, it's
yeah.
many things. But how has that been for you, since there has been so many life changes for you?
Yeah, I mean, a big piece of it was my best friend, Brandy. She got breast cancer at the end of 2022, right when I started my own sort of, unbeknownst to me, my own
Yeah.
sort of transition out of more of the really kind of galactic-y stuff. And so she got breast cancer. And I went on the journey with her all of 2023. It's completely in remission now. So, um, but when I was started going into like a deeper awareness practice and all of that, she was finding Jesus. And I was like, and she was telling me about her experiences with him and the miracles that she was experiencing. And I have to be honest, I probably would not have the relationship I have with Jesus now if it wasn't for her, because she sort of showed me a behind the scenes of like what it looks like to really work with him and the miracles that he can bring. Um, and I was blown away, like her medical bills just being gone. Doctor, like $1 million in medical bills, literally gone. When she had zero money left, like $5 left in her bank account, somebody coming in and randomly buying her groceries. I mean, just miracle after miracle. About to go into surgery, and her favorite worship song comes on right when they're about to go into surgery, and all the doctors are singing, and it was, a Jesus I love you song. Just like so many miracles. And I started saying, wait a second, there is something to this. Like, what is this? And so I started to say, you know what? I'm curious. Like, I really want to, um, I really want to walk this walk with you. She's super religious. So she has some beliefs that I'm not 100% on board with. Um, but our relationship with Jesus is exactly the same. And so I was thinking that I was just gonna be able to somehow not really ever talk about it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, but the more I just started to try to not talk about it, the more I was like, I'm living in I'm like, this is not what I do. I am so authentic and so vulnerable and so real. And like, if I can't talk about the miracles I'm receiving, and the demons that were coming after me when I
Mm.
started really
Yeah.
committing, like, oh my God, I've been like, and like when I would have these like really horrible thoughts that just kept looping and I would rebuke them in Jesus's name,
Yes.
like they would be gone in a second. I'm like, whoa, okay, okay, there is
No
something to this.
sage.
Yeah, no sage, no
Yeah.
praying to the angels or archangels
Yeah.
or like none of that. It was like you just literally rebuke it in Jesus Christ. And I'm like, or I put worship music on and I'm like, oh dear God, I have to start. People are, how am I going to do this? Right? Because it's like I'd never talked about Jesus. I never said
Yeah.
rebuke the enemy's uh, uh, powers over your mind through his name, like worship music. Um, but the more I do it, the more I'm just like, it's all I want to talk about. It's all I want to. It's all I want. I want everyone to experience him. I want everyone to realize what happens when you invite him in and the miracles, um just what an amazing confidant it is to have, um yeah, and the when it really was like, okay, I got to go all in, was when I got malaria in Kenya a week before my retreat, and that I was holding a big retreat in Kenya. People from all over the world were coming. I got malaria and I'm like, all right, Jesus, I know God doesn't do anything. God does everything for good,
Yeah.
right? Like, so I know there's a silver lining in this. But I was like, if you heal me, I will commit the rest of my life to you. I will share you. I will scream from the rooftop, and he laughs, kind of chuckled. And he was like, um, can you be okay with not being healed?
Mm.
Can you be okay with not being healed? And, meaning like, it's not doesn't have to go your way, Lorie,
Right.
and I'm still, your best friend, and I'm still right here, and it's still just as powerful. We don't always get what we want. And, yeah, I sat with it, and I really surrendered to not being okay. Um, and then a week later, well, maybe 5 days later, right before everybody came, I woke up and it was gone
Mm.
overnight. It was just gone. And, it was like, how much faith do you have? You just need a tiny bit of faith. You just need a tiny bit of faith. And that faith can change your whole life. And that's what I did. I had faith in him. And I knew that whether I was healed or not, it was the highest outcome. Like he had his hand in all of this. So I knew I was okay either way. And that's what has been so freeing for me, is like, I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge, and I'm going to hand it over to him, and I'm going to ask him. And I don't know the Bible the way everybody else does that follows him, perhaps. And I don't go to church all the time, but I know the relationship I have with him. And, um, you know, I'm committed to it, and I'm humbled by it. I'm humbled by what he's doing on this planet. It's just, it's it's crazy.
Mm.
It's really, I never would have imagined. I mean, I don't know your story. I don't know
Yeah.
where you came from and where you are now, or your relationship with him, but I imagine it's also similar, kind of like,
Right.
yeah.
You know what is interesting? So I wasn't brought up religious. There was like some Bible camp things, and I did work at one. All of these memories are coming back a bit more clearly, but um, in that world, I was very aware of the spirit, supernatural, and like angels and demons and that world. And now to come full circle back, it's like a returning. Um, the importance that I feel of people to know truly what exists out there, and at the same time, what can be gained from having that relationship with Jesus is so important. And you don't have
Mhm.
to do anything. Like
Mm-mm.
this is the one thing that has blown me away the most is the unconditional love as you are, period. You don't have to do anything. You just have to say, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah. It's wild,
It
right? Like,
is.
yeah. And like I can and it's interesting because I don't know, were you ever in the New Age community at all?
Yeah, so Lori, yes. And I'm in the process of untethering from that world as well. So when you were sharing of just how things were feeling different and just not in alignment for you, I've been there and now kind of, well, I don't have to figure out
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. And there's no separation really,
Yeah,
but it is
it
a it
changes.
changes.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
No.
either kind of perspective, but it changes, right? Like it's yeah, it's oh, so what I was gonna say
Yeah.
was if you were part of like and I don't wanna call it the new age community because I feel like there's a label to it, but, more of the, I don't know, I don't even know what you would call it, but, I mean, I'm still a part of it, but,
Yes.
um, you're not supposed to give your power away, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
no, you unconditionally love yourself, like,
Yeah.
you don't need an external person or an external thing to love you unconditionally, to know you're unconditionally loved. And I call bullshit on that. I'm
Yeah.
going to call bullshit on it because if that was the case, I would have already felt unconditional love. Like,
Right.
why have I not? I've been in this community since I was 13. Like, I'm always, it's like there's always something to
Same.
fix or to figure out or to change and with Jesus, it's like, I've never felt more unconditional love for myself, even though it's a daily up and
Yes.
down, for the
Yes.
world,
Yeah.
for humanity. I'm like, I love
Yeah.
everyone. I am like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm literally like, people are responding differently to me. It's like they can feel something in me that I it's and it's not because of me. Like, I'm not like, "I did this." You
You
know?
become transformed. You really do. So when you were sharing, it's like wanting to be more in his character. It happened. Like it's a natural thing that happens where you could have thought you were kind and loving before and open, and but were you really?
Right. Right.
Right? It's like, were you really? Because I thought that. I'm like, oh, clearly I wasn't. But
Right.
this is what I thought and what I was feeling. But until you transition into that, you understand what it means to really be kind and loving genuinely, and to love
Genuinely.
people genuinely, to
Genuinely.
forgive.
Genuinely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, forgiveness and just yeah, I just got full body goosebumps. Just like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I s and it's never I don't think you can understand it until you experience it. Like, you just can't, because it's like nothing I've ever felt before, ever. It's just I'm just so grateful. I mean, I didn't do anything. I don't know how you but I didn't do anything to get to where I'm at right now, right? Other than just keep turning my head to him,
Yeah.
keep looking at him, keep putting him first and putting God first. Um, keep building my relationship with him.
Mm.
That's really the thing, that what I've continued to do. I haven't tried to like fix myself or heal myself, or like there's not these steps I've taken to get to this open-hearted place. I imagine it just keeps going. But that's what's so fascinating. There is, like you said, there's nothing to do.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing.
It's so simple,
So simple.
right?
It's so
And
simple.
instead of having to juggle all of these things to then be better or good enough or whatever the stories are, and you don't have to do anything.
No.
And something that was interesting, and I just feel like he is real, like when I'm saying revival, it's happening because in 2023, like same year, I had a visitation that like I was like, what is this even? Like I would never in a million years have ever envisioned Jesus ever. And then that changed everything
He came to you? He
in
appeared?
2023.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what started the snowball too. So that's why I felt very connected with you as well on that. Cause I'm like the same time frame. Like there are more. Like this is happening. It's like the waves of awakening to that love, to that surrender, and to put God first.
First. First. I'm in the midst of doing a 3-day water fast to
Mm,
deepen my relationship with God. Um, and I've tried to do water fasts in the past to cleanse out my body from all the toxins, but that was like me, me, me. I'm gonna do this, right? Like I mind over matter. Lori's gonna do this. And it's so cute how we do that. And then the I wanted to um deepen my commitment to God and really putting God first and putting Jesus first. And I was like, what's the biggest sacrifice I could make
mm,
um in terms of like really trusting that I can get through something without my own doing, right? That if I put everything in their hands, I can get through it. And it's fasting. I hate being hungry. I hate not eating. I hate fasting. I hate juice fasts. I hate half day fasts. I am not a fan of any of that. It's not in my blood to do that. Um, and so,
Sorry
yeah,
for interrupting. I just did at the last week of February a water fast, like fast
no,
praying, and then it turned into a cleanse.
no way.
Yes,
Dude, that's
I
wild.
know. You said that. I'm like, oh my God, I just like came out of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it bring you closer to God? Did you feel like
I feel like it was a reset that I needed because the whole reason that I was doing it was because I was told to and I listened, didn't necessarily want to, but it's now a recalibration of the body and a cleansing the body.
wow. So you were given the direction of like you need to fast.
Yeah.
Wow. It's
Yep.
so
So,
I
ah,
it's so powerful, and there's so
yeah.
many stories in the Bible and so many people like figures that fasted, and they fasted all the time, and I'm like, okay, there's got to be something to this. Um
Well, and the sacrifice too, because you're like, I don't like fasting. I like
Yeah, and I mean, again, I don't know much about the Bible. I unfortunately, I'm sure I'll learn a little bit more, but I know that we're in Lent, which I think is like,
40 days.
yeah, is it right before he resurrected? I don't know. There's
I
like,
don't know.
yeah, something happened
All
during
I
these
know.
40 days. Maybe Jesus will tell me. But it's a real powerful sacrificial time. And I didn't do it during and thinking it during this time, but yeah, I just to me it's really, I mean, I love my life right now. I am, just knowing that I can use my vessel as a vehicle in which God can work through me and Jesus can work through me. I mean, there's nothing else I want to do. I've never felt more connected to humanity than I do now. It's such a yeah, it's such a beautiful opportunity. It's yeah. So when he came into your space, then was it easy for you to start building the relationship with him again, or was it like, wait a second, what am I doing? What is this?
Well, yeah. Loaded question. Like, first of all, because it was so unexpected, as um, that made me more open to it because it's just when you don't have words to describe why it happened and the way it happened, it was like very, very visceral in my body, and the main message was to see as I see. Just
Mm.
like see
Oof.
as I see, and to know that there's so much hate and malice in the world. And even through that, like through being crucified, still having that unconditional love.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, and once again, human. So it has its moments, but I find I couldn't not open myself up from that experience.
So you really felt like the Holy Spirit and Jesus came. You could viscerally,
Oh, like in my body.
yeah, that's
Like
such.
this.
Can you even explain it? Because I feel like when you're hit with that, I don't know how you can ever go back.
That's that's the whole thing, because there is nothing like it. And if
Nothing.
you've been in the other worlds and the channeling and all of it, there's nothing like it. And there
Yeah.
aren't words to fully describe that, but you do have to experience it.
You have, and what's so wild to me is like if you've experienced it, when someone else, you're like, oh my God, you've experienced it too. You know what I'm talking about. You're like, yes, I know it. It's like you meet family or something. It's like it's yeah. I mean, it's hit me a handful of times that him coming in and fully like and taking over my body almost.
Okay.
And I don't know what it felt like to you, but I was bawling. I was like,
Yes,
yeah,
Lori. Uncontrollable.
uncontrollable.
Yes.
Like a bait, like you're like, but it wasn't because you were
Wailing.
sad. It was just like there was such a love that came. Oh, you were like, I was messaging my best friend Brandy. I'm like,
Yeah.
"What's going on? I can't stop crying. This feels so amazing. This feels so good." And yet, I this. What is this? She goes, "Oh, that's the Holy Spirit coming over you." I'm like, "What's the Holy Spirit? Like, what is this?" She's like, "It's Jesus. He's coming in, and he's the
Yes.
Prince of Peace." And all. And I'm like, "You
Yes.
felt this?" She's like, "Yeah, it's incredible." And I was like, "Okay, hold on. I gotta keep crying." It's just,
Yes.
once you feel that, it's a I mean, I have channeled every galactic angel being. I have connected with everything, and there is nothing
No.
that compares to that.
Mm.
Nothing.
So, how has that been for you? I want to say it's like the untethering or it's just like they can be part of the same world, but you might gravitate to one direction more, or like one embrace more. So how has that been for you as you've stepped away
Yeah.
from doing that?
Well, it's interesting as I'm speaking with you because it started happening sort of organically in the end of
Right.
2022. It's just I wasn't resonating. I didn't want to do this work anymore. It didn't feel right. It just felt weird. So it was organically kind of
Mm.
happening, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to go find Jesus and change my life, like with you, right? It's like, it just organically started to unravel. And again, I
Mhm.
think this is the evolution in consciousness. I
Right.
think that this is the Christ consciousness. I think this is the second coming of Jesus. And physically, I don't know if he's going to physically come, but this is this is
Mm.
sweeping our entire planet because it is living from that heart space and being human, and being in this human
Mm.
experience, and not trying to get out of it. And it's like, you really want to know what forgiveness is?
Right.
Really be in the human experience and watch humanity, look at humanity, feel humanity, and don't try to bypass or get to something else, like let your heart break, um, over and over again, in order for it to open. And so it's become more of just this really simple human experience,
Yeah.
um, where I have felt most connected to God and to
Yes.
all of it,
Yeah.
like, oh, and so I haven't, I mean, it's been a slow progression of me just not
Totally.
connecting to galactics anymore and not having a desire to. I remember even like, I don't know, maybe 7 months ago, I was like, maybe I should just try to sit and meditate and go into a galactic ship and connect to them. And I tried to, and there was like, it's not that they were bad. They were just like, yo, what's up? But I was like, I don't want to be here. This is
Mm.
not, this is
Home.
doing nothing for me anymore.
Mhm.
Um, and they're just doing their thing. They're all just kind of playing their role and, assisting humanity. But for me, it's like, the funny thing, I don't know if I shared this story, but when I was in Kenya, and I was leading my retreat, um, I had this little people pleaser come in of like, Lorie, you need to people please. And so I was like, okay, well, I think a handful of people really wanted to connect to the galactic energies because
Mm.
they still associated me with that. And of
Right.
course, I wrote a book
Yeah.
channeled by like, hello, like, so I was like, I felt like some of them wanted to connect to galactic energies, or maybe it was just me. So one night I was like, all right, you guys, we're going to sit and connect to galactic energies. And um, I didn't feel right about doing it, but I was
Mhm.
like, I'm going to be the people pleaser and do this. Um, and it was in the evening, it was dark. I called in Jesus first.
Yes.
And it was like he kind of like held this space. And I could see this like, it was like I had never seen this before, but it was like a clear wall that you could see through, and all the galactics were on the other side of the
Yes.
wall. I was
Mhm.
like, "Wow, this is wild." Jesus is like literally keeping them out.
Yeah.
Not because they're bad, but it was like it's not necessary, Lorie. It's not necessary. And free will Lorie's like, I'm gonna do this anyways. So I bring them in, and um, you know, towards the end of the guided meditation with all the galactics here, I was standing the whole time, and
Yeah.
I felt something whoosh by my right leg by the
Mm.
calf muscle, and it literally knocked me off guard. Like I jolted like up, like opened my eyes, and
Yeah.
then I like literally jumped maybe a foot or a foot and a half, and I thought it was somebody that walked past me.
Mm.
And I was like, immediately all the light was gone. It was just dark energy. And I felt not good energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to tell everyone, I was like, okay, well, something dark just came into this space. Let me call Jesus back in. Jesus, come in, Jesus, come in, Jesus, come in, Jesus, come in. I was like affirming him in the space. And come to find out, there was somebody in the circle that took a picture when I had first started the meditation, standing there. They took a picture in the very beginning, and there were all these entities
Yeah.
wrapping around my leg. You could see them in the picture. They were going up my whole leg. And I knew at that moment that I don't ever need to do that again.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that it's for who, I mean, everyone gets to choose their path, but for me, that was the last time, for a while at least, that I will open up to anything other than Jesus.
Other. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Um,
I loved also when you were sharing opening up to this path where there was more like the spiritual warfare, because it's real. Like, we don't need to be in la la land thinking that all everything is beautiful and peaceful and loving. No, it's real.
it's
and
real.
and at the same time, Jesus is powerful. Like, you use that name and it changes. And I remember, it's so funny because, once again, like, I didn't grow up religious, but anytime I would ever be afraid or something would feel off, I would call him in. Like, I would just say, like, it was something wired in
Whoa.
me because I was used to having all of those energies around, or like aware of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow,
it's
that's wild. Have you noticed, because I've noticed, especially in the past, really in the past 6 months, um, specific moments of deep, deep demonic sabotage, demonic
oh
demons,
yeah,
um, which is different than entities, right? Demons.
absolutely.
And
Are
being
real.
they're real.
Not
And by
trying to
the
scare
way,
you, but
and a
it's real.
little yeah, a little PS.com for everyone, like, you can't just command them out. It
Mm-mm.
doesn't work that way. Like, I have navigated these realms, so have you, so have many of us, and you cannot command on your own these demonic energies.
Mm.
And when I realized, when my girlfriend Randy's like, "You have to rebuke it in the name of Jesus, in Jesus' name, Jesus Christ, in the blood of Jesus Christ." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try it."
Yeah.
And it was like, they were gone. They were gone. And I'm like, "Oh," and God came in when I had real
Yes.
bad demonic energies in my house. God came in as this beautiful light, and he's like, "This is nothing." And immediately the demons scattered. They run.
Yes.
Then I was thinking about movies that I used to watch as a little girl,
Yeah.
like The Exorcism, where the priest would hold the
Yes.
cross, and it would get rid of the I always thought that was a joke. Like, that's not
Oh,
real. That's a joke. Dude, I wear a cross now. I'm like,
yes.
"Oh yeah, that is real."
I so my exposure to it was like in the Bible camp years, but deliverance ministry and Bob Larson, where he would be
Why does
I
that sound so familiar?
yeah, he's the real exorcist online.
Okay.
He's been doing it for like 50 years. And yeah, he had the cross and just, but it worked. And you would see yeah, manifestations in people, but then you'd see it go,
Go.
right? And it's not us doing it. We can't do it.
We
And
can't
that's
do any
important
of
to
this.
know. No.
Yeah. And I think it's life-saving for a lot of people, and I think that's why I have to have more and more courage to just say, rebuke these thoughts in the name of Jesus Christ. Like, what? Because people are like, "What? What do you mean, Jesus Christ, rebuke in the name of Jesus?" I'm just say it
It
and watch
works.
what happens. Um, because it's just a miracle. And I don't know how you could not be humbled by that. And like, wait a second, there's gotta be something here. And also, the enemy works in really subtle ways in our mind. That's where the
Mhm.
enemy plays, is in our minds. Um, and so it's interesting because I'm thinking right now, like, have I been I haven't really been fighting the enemy as much. Not fighting, but I haven't been asking Jesus to come in and rebuke any really intense thoughts lately. Um, but it might be also because I had that big malaria moment and scare. I'm not sure, but um, I'm
I'm
not.
thinking,
Yeah.
oh no, go.
No, I was just gonna say I'm not immune to demonic attacks. I'm
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm in a high vibe and there's no demonic energies that are going to come at me. I mean, the other night I felt them in my room and I was like, I just called Jesus in and I was like, in the name of Jesus, I rebuke these energies. Jesus, come in and rebuke these energies, pull them out of my room, and just prayed, and they left.
And can we also say it's that, I don't want to say simple, but it is. Like, you ask and you shall receive. You will be supported. You just have to ask.
It's so wild. And you have to have that faith that
Yes.
it's going to that you have to
Yes.
have the faith, right? Cuz so many people are like, I've been asking and nothing's been happening. And I don't want to
It's
say to
so
them, well,
hard.
you probably don't have faith. Like, you can't doubt.
Right.
You have to know um that it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
How would you, or perhaps the question would be, what advice would you have for someone that might just be opening up to this possibility of, wow, Jesus is real. Wow. Or even curious about it. What is advice that you could give to support them in maybe the opening of the heart to it, the opening of the mind to it, the mustard seed of faith to that being a valuable asset in their life because they're already part of it?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a beautiful question, and it's really really all I want to talk and teach about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a couple of things. One, it would be find people that live um, in that Christed way. Like, go. There are so many amazing podcasts that, and I think that it's shifting. Like,
Yeah.
it's shifting. It's not as dogmatic as it used to be. There's a
Right.
softening that's happening. So the first thing I would say is just get curious with um, the potential that it's not what you thought it was in the past,
Yeah.
right? And start to do some YouTube searches for podcasts. I mean, there's George Janko. I watch him all the time. He's got a podcast. There's a lot of different podcasts out there where they're talking about this as just as normal everyday, things, and it makes it easier to sort of embrace what this relationship with Jesus means, and it starts to become a little bit less dogmatic and religious and more of like a way of being.
Yes.
So that's the first thing, is just start to kind of research. The second thing is that what I've done, what I continue to do, is I see him as a teacher and a friend, and I see him as like I'm building a relationship. It's an intimate relationship, um, and you can have all your fights with him like, I'm going to stay in charge and he's just going to sit there and wait, and he'll be there at any moment, right? So looking at it more from this perspective of, you're building an intimate relationship like you would with a partner, right? You're getting to know someone. So you have to invite them in. You have to talk to them. You have to ask for their help. Like, if you were in a relationship with a man or a woman, you wouldn't keep everything to yourself. You would ask for help. You would lean in. You would share your day. You would, that's what it's like for me. And so those two things, I think, finding people in your life that follow Christ, that aren't like, won't push you away, which I don't think people are like that nowadays. I just haven't come in contact with that. So finding people that walk that path, that Christ cat path, that have a relationship with Jesus, it's really helpful. It's really beneficial. Start looking at different podcasts, maybe just get curious, like, because it might shock you how different it is now in 2025 with Jesus than it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Even like I will watch Sunday church online, those big, huge churches with these really cool young pastors that are like
Yes.
45 years old and they're playing awesome music. And I'm like, this isn't the 70-year-old white man on stage. Like,
No.
this is really good. There's Reverb Church. Is that Reverb? And what's the other one I listen to? Reverb. And then there's that they have a band that they play. But anyways, I watch those two church. I wish I could remember the other one, but anyway, I do that and I just start opening, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? I mean,
You're going to feel good?
you're going to feel good. Like, you're going to, and there's I definitely get a lot of comments of like, I'm calling him in and I don't feel anything. I don't hear anything. And my response to that is that it's impossible the moment you call him in for him not to be there. It's impossible,
Yeah.
right? That would be like, calling your mom and your mom answers, but you're like, she's not answering. It's like, no, it's impossible for you to call your mom, for her to have the phone in her hand. She will pick it up.
Yeah.
It's a done deal. It's just that it might not have the expectation that you want right away.
Yeah.
But you have to have that absolute knowingness that the moment you call him in, he's right there.
Mm.
He's right there. It's impossible for that not to be there. And I have connected with a lot of different energies, a lot of different angelics, a lot of different all kinds. And it's not that easy usually. It takes practice to connect to them, not with Jesus.
No.
You call him in, boom. And so it's really just getting out of our way and really trusting that. And the more you do it, the more you practice bringing him in, just asking him to come into your space, saying that you want to start a relationship with him, that you want to connect with him, praying to him, to thanking him for the things in your life, asking him to help you with certain things. If you can do it every day, your life will change.
Mm.
Your life will change. And not being trying not to stay in control of it. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. It should be like this, right? I mean, that. I think so many of us are like, oh, wow, this is very different than, if I was in charge, it wouldn't necessarily look like this or feel like this.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, literally, Carrie Underwood was right way back in the day.
Can we say that it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, like whatever you think? Yeah, like even just forget everything that you think just
Forget it.
completely being open
Yeah.
and he will be there.
He will. Yeah. And I always think about, I've listened to a lot of like near death experience videos of people that have passed, and the most popular man that just seems to be there when everybody passes is him.
Yeah.
I'm like, there might be something to this. Like,
Mhm.
this is really interesting. So I always find that very interesting too, is like, he seems to be somebody that's just always there. It's also hard to wrap your head around. Like, even today, my best friend Brandy and I were talking about it. It's like, it's wild to think that he died for us. Like, he died in order to be able to make the mark he wanted to make. It's just it's like, it's
Yeah.
almost incomprehensible. And then to think about this book that we call the Bible,
Right.
that was written before Jesus was born. It was written hundreds of years after he was born, and somehow all the stories collide,
Yes.
and that it's still around, and I'm like, "What in the," and somehow millions of people all over the world connect to this one man, like, that only lived for 33 years and only taught
Yeah.
for 3? I'm like, "Wait a second, come again?" Like, 3 years has already passed since COVID,
Yeah.
like,
And such an
how
impact.
so it's crazy. People are like, "Why don't you," I get all kinds of comments. So
Oh,
another
absolutely.
comment I get is like, "Why don't you feel this way about the Buddha or, Mary Magdalene?" And I'm like, "I don't know why. Why is the Bible not written about these?" I don't know why. I don't know why this is sweeping the planet the way it is.
Yes.
I don't know why.
I have found it amazing as well, the levels of persecution that started with it and continue. It's
Yeah, what is
right. There's
that?
so much, like, so much hate
Why?
projected. Well, exactly. But like for thousands of years, like, why?
Why?
It's
It
curious.
it's very interesting to ask that question, like, why is there such an anger or, a hatred? Okay, so on one side of the argument, people would say, "Well, he said he was the son of God, and I don't
Right.
believe he's the son of God." It's like, "But are you a son or daughter of God?" Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I
or
would,
if it's like this, the doorway to God,
why is that
the
bad?
ultimate.
Yeah. It's so weird how people get so angry about it. Um, I
Yeah.
mean, you think about why most wars happen on this planet, it's because of religion, and it's
Yeah.
just like, what's so fascinating to me about Jesus is he didn't start a religion.
No.
He didn't start a he was just preaching God, and it's
Yeah.
like,
That's us humans, Lori.
it's right? We have to have
Humbling
some
it.
sort of story behind it, and we have to have a divisiveness about it.
Yeah,
And when you connect to Jesus, it's all of that's gone. Like,
absolutely.
it's really it's yeah, it's a
A
I'm
rabbit
just
hole.
yeah, it's a and I'm here for the ride. Like, I
Yeah.
am all about it, and I'm really committed to not I'm really committed to bringing people to him that have that resistance or that charge, because I was like that, and I don't wanna bring people to Jesus because I want to initiate them into something. I just want them to break free, you know? Like, man, there's so much freedom when you get out of your way, and I don't know, it's kind of like if you know that there's this amazing person that you could introduce someone to, and it could change your life. Like, I would be running around the neighborhoods like, "Dude, you gotta meet this person." I would be passing on their reels over and over again,
Yeah.
like, "Listen to this story, listen to this reel, listen to," like, that's how I see it. I'm like, "You gotta check this out. This is incredible." Like,
And that's why, even like with your vulnerability and your sharing and like opening up to that, is taking, the blinders off, or
yeah.
turning somebody's head in a direction that they might not have looked. And I find, even for myself, I it's just funny how it happens. You just want to share.
You
You're like, I
do.
want to tell you about this amazing person you could be a friend with.
Yeah. It's really, I'm very sensitive. I part of it is that I do care what people think. Obviously, I don't wanna upset people or rattle people,
Understandable.
but I didn't give a crap. I didn't care during COVID. For some reason I didn't care during that time,
Mhm.
but now I'm like walking on eggshells a little bit because honestly, if it was left to me, if I didn't have that mind, if I didn't have that like, be careful, don't talk about him too much. You're talking about him too much. Don't do another reel about. If I didn't have that, I would be like, it would just be nonstop. Um, and so, I'm aware of that I'm, definitely holding back, but I know that it will shift and I know that everything's perfect and I know that I want to be inclusive um with all of it. So just learning how to navigate that, learning how to walk that fine line so I don't necessarily push people away. Um but also being okay with pushing people away and triggering them and just staying really true to myself and to what
Mm.
you know what I'm going through. If How could I possibly be a teacher and not share the most important teacher there is?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
So what is that looking like for you now that you're moving forward? Now that things have been changing, are changing, will continue to change. What is in the world for Lorie? What is in your sphere of what you'll be continuing to bring forward in the world for teachings and
I
adventure?
mean, honestly, I just can't at this point. I don't know what else I would really want to talk about. I mean, I have an online community, so I don't always talk about, you know, I talk about the human evolution and what we're going through, but I talk about it from the perspective of Jesus now, not from like this higher kind of high vibe galactic, not like just kind of disconnected kind of space. So I think just sharing and teaching just more of the human experience, the human condition, the human suffering, um and like you've said earlier in this our conversation, like the simplicity of it, that it's really just very simple. Um and how, it could be as simple as inviting Jesus into your life.
Mm.
And how can I invite that in more? How can I mean, I'm doing a class. I'm so, so, so excited. Is where I kind of see it as like co-teaching with Jesus, like letting him come in um and just having him be with people. Like I don't even know how it's going to work. But that's part of why I'm doing the fast also, is just to get much clearer and like letting him use my vessel. But I feel like, I mean, you know this because
Yeah.
you had him literally come into your body. But when you really start to feel him, there's no denying the peace. There's no denying the simplicity of it. And so if I can bring that to people,
Mm. Mhm.
they, I feel like the suffering that they're in will reduce. I do.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
then
I don't
it's
know.
just continuing to open.
Just continuing, yeah, and, like, really handing it over, and what I've been finding the most fascinating lately, the last couple of weeks since I've been back from Kenya, is, like, how people are very are they're they're different with me. Like,
Mm.
it's almost like and I'm not doing anything different, but it's
Yeah.
almost like they can feel that there's something else here. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, they're they shift, they soften, they become more open, more vulnerable, more loving, more, and I'm just starting to notice this. I'm like, "Whoa. Whoa, this is This is how Jesus works through us. This is
Yeah.
how God works through us, you
Yeah.
know?
If we're being that reflection, in most cases, how can it not be mirrored back?
And I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to.
Mm-mm. Well, no, because you are.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, no, there's no, oh, I'm gonna be nice to those
yeah.
people. Or no, it's just it literally transforms you.
It does. It literally
Yeah.
transforms you. It makes you new. You become new. You become, you know, I mean, it's so wild that we're even having this
I know.
conversation. It's like we just talked about Jesus for an hour.
I
Like,
know.
what did we even talk about? Like, what
Well,
did
and
we just
the funny thing is, like, I will share this because I think the day that I reached out to you to ask if you wanted to be on the podcast, I had thought about you in the morning, and I'm like, that's a that's interesting. Like, what? I'm not gonna ask her. Oh my god! But then I saw an Instagram post where you literally were saying, you're like, I just want to talk about Jesus, and instantly I'm like, okay, I have to message her. And I did. I'm
Yeah.
like, would you be interested? And here we are. Because I tried to talk myself out of it. Probably like with you, where you're like, can I share as much about this? But like it gets to the point where you don't care anymore. It's like,
Yeah.
but you do care. And
Right.
in that sharing,
Yeah.
be
It's wild. It's like when you reached out, I was like, "Oh, heck yeah. We'll be able to like swap notes about Jesus. I'm in. 100%. Let's go." Because it's really like the only thing, everything else just feels, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
It
I
doesn't matter. Like,
it's not that complicated.
it's not that complicated. It's, and, it's, we live in a world now where everything is being thrown at us and all kinds of information. And um, I, I feel for humans because it's so freaking simple.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it was as simple as just s- opening and having a relationship with Jesus? Part of the reason I use the word Yeshua
Yes.
is because it softens people.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm like, all right, I'll use whatever name I need to use to like
Yeah.
soften people to,
Even God.
oh, please.
Yeah, that's it's like divine,
Yeah.
like, but I love you saying softening because that's the bridge.
Yeah. What is it when the people can't say God? I'm like, but I was there.
Me
I
too.
I was there. I would be like, I can't believe they're using God. Like they're like, how could they be using the word God?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, wait, I get it. Like I would never use I mean, I understand you using universe, but that just is so not giving it proper respect. Like the universe, the God created the universe. Like,
Can I'm just laughing because I think like another turning point was I'm going to go to the creator of the universe itself.
right.
Beyond, and then that was also a turning point. And so even for people listening, it's like, once again, you have your free will and your choices and whatever you want to explore, and at the same time, like, how can we have open minds and open hearts to that? And yeah, like, I'm going to the creator of the universe.
100% straight there. Like, no, I don't want universe. I
No,
want,
that's chaos.
yeah, I want God. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am, and it's so funny because we live in a world where there's that dichotomy where it's like, well, it's either this or that. It's either
Right.
black or white, right? And it's like, well, you wrote a book about the divine design and
Yeah.
it's from the Galactic Federation and do you still believe in that? It's like, well, yeah, that was how everything was. Earth is part of God. Like
Yeah.
it's all part of God. Like God, it can all be here. Understanding how the earth decided to choose to be its in this experience, and how there's an evolutionary shift in consciousness that's still happening. We're still frequency is shifting. That's an absolute, but when you break it down into a real simple awareness, it's God.
Yeah.
And we have the illusion that we're God. And it's like, no, you're playing a role. You're an aspect of God. You're a soul in a form that is trying to deny that it's playing this role, right? Like,
Mm.
it's like, "No, I'm God." It's like, "No, you're actually playing a human. You're playing a role right now. It's okay to be human." You
Yeah.
know? It's okay
And
to say, "I need help."
yeah, and we came here to be human too.
Came here. Yes. We came here to be this human, thing, and that's I think that's what's so beautiful about Jesus and really bringing him in is, like, no matter how much spiritual work you do, how much how many meditation practices, you're still a human.
Yeah.
You're still gonna be playing you're still gonna be stuck in the human, and what that means is you are still gonna be in trauma, and in conditioning, and in programming, and in mind, and in thoughts, and, like, you cannot get out of that,
Yeah.
not until you're gone, and so to think that somehow we are gonna be able to be in some altered state where that's not gonna impact us, it's just not reality. So, recognizing that Jesus can come in and help you soften to the fact that you're human,
Yeah.
you know, um, and he can actually soften your heart, open your heart, do all that. It's like, "Okay, I'm in. Let's
Mm.
do it."
And can we also say, like, the timing of when this podcast going live is very intentional because it's before Good Friday?
I love it. I also love that I was in a fast doing it. I
Ah,
love
yeah,
Yeah, I love that it's, like, during, like, Lent, the 40 days. I just,
yeah.
like yeah, that's so powerful. I mean, I don't know about you, but, like, I just feel like my life keeps getting better. I mean, I'm
Mm.
always that glass is half empty, you know?
Ah,
But my l a li I am just so stoked and excited about life right now, like,
mm.
not because I'm making all kinds of money or I'm sick or no, it's like I am just so grateful for life. I'm so happy to be here. I am so on board with this. And that hasn't always been the case. I don't
Yeah.
know about you, but
Oh, no.
yeah.
Your life changes the way that you feel, changes the way that you see yourself, changes the way that you see the world, changes. Everything changes. And yes, there's still going to be hardships, but you're not alone. Like, you're really
Yeah.
not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. You don't feel alone. You don't feel alone. God, it's a huge key piece is you don't feel like you're doing this by yourself anymore.
And at times, you could have felt alone and you could have had all of the support and still feel alone, but you don't feel alone.
Yeah, what is that? Is like
I,
I'm like, yeah, that's so true that you could because I've connected to galactic stuff for so long and I've felt them, but I would always feel alone.
yeah.
I don't feel that with Jesus.
There's a song. Oh, it just started playing in my head. It's like you've got a friend in Jesus.
You got a friend in me. You got Do you
Yeah.
listen to worship music?
Um, yes and no. Yes
Yeah.
and no.
Okay. You probably just haven't found the right worship music because man, there are some songs
Oh,
that just like, oof, I am just like, all in. I can't listen to regular music
No.
anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Ooh, so do you are there specific songs that you like?
Yeah, I'll
If
have
you
to
could
send
send me
you
the links,
yeah,
because I
I'll
can
send you
put
the
them
links.
in the show notes too, so then people can
Okay.
find them. So that would be
100%.
yeah,
I have a YouTube. I like to watch it on YouTube. I
yeah,
like to listen on YouTube because then it's like live concert
yeah,
shows of them, and they play like worship songs are like 10 minutes long, 15
yeah.
minutes long. Um, and they're not like hallelujah. It's like,
No. No, they're
oh,
like
good. Oh, they're just, I'm like, I love this so much. Like, and again, like when I started listening to worship music, I was like, what is going I cannot believe I'm listening. I'm like Trevor Hall. Like, what is this? I'm like, this is changing my life. Um,
yeah.
and it's just putting on worship music immediately connects you to God, and it immediately shifts you. That's a big tool that I use. So yeah, I'll send you guys the YouTube link that I have because I have like a playlist. Oh, I
Okay.
also have a Spotify
Oh,
playlist
yes.
um, that has all kinds of good. And then usually when you're on YouTube, like if you watch one YouTube song, then it just plays, and then you're just like, "Oh my god, this one's even better than the last one." Um, oh, it's
Oh,
so
that would be
good.
amazing. Well,
Yeah.
and okay, speaking of links too, because they will be in the show notes, but how can people find you? Like where do they find Lorie Ladd?
Oh, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Just Lorie. I think it's Lorie_Ladd on Facebook and Instagram. And then my website is lorieladd.com.
Yeah,
And my YouTube is lorieladd.com. LORIELADD. Yeah.
and in the show notes.
Yes.
If there was one last thing that you could share with the folks that are tuning in and will hear this, what would that be?
Oh my goodness. There's no mistakes. There's no mistakes that you guys that you're listening to this right now. There are no mistakes. I mean, Jesus sneaks in the most, you know, unbeknownst to us ways. Like he just finds a way to sneak in. And
Mm,
I mean, you and I have just shared how our entire lives have changed, and in very similar ways.
yeah,
And if there was anything that I could leave people that are listening to this and resonating with this is open yourself to Jesus and just,
mm,
I mean, we both came from different backgrounds, and we're not preaching anything. There's no preaching. It's life changing. And if you're suffering, if you're struggling, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? Like
yeah.
nothing seems to work anymore, which is going to happen. Um, Try Jesus out. Like try opening to him,
What do you
bringing him in.
have to lose?
What do you have to lose? I'm sure you've tried everything else in the book and, thrown everything at it. Um, and spent all the money in the world trying to fix or
Mm,
heal.
yeah.
Jesus is free. He's
Mm.
free. Um,
And is pursuing you.
and is pursuing you. Oh, there is this song. I'm going to send it to you. Wait till you listen to it. It's
Okay.
basically like, Jesus is coming after you. He's chasing you down. Like he's not like there's nothing you can do. He's coming and just in a like he loves us so much. He understands what we're going through because he's been here.
Yeah.
He's gone through it. He gets it. Um and there is like nothing. I don't think there's anything that's going to stop this, like what you called the
Mm.
revival of like. And the more people fight it, that's fine. He's just gonna keep coming for him,
Yeah.
Like, fine by me. This is the wave that's happening, and my God, what an incredible time to be alive. Like, wow, wow. I never would have thought I would be chilling with Jesus every day, like, Never. It's so wild. But I mean, how fun is it to just talk about him, you
And go
know?
on dates.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm gonna go on a date?" Like, "I'm not going on dates." Like, "Well, no,
Yeah.
with
With
him." Oh my
Jesus.
god.
Yes,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah. And really putting him first. I mean, we didn't get to talk about this, but,
Yeah.
it just really, um every time you turn towards a problem or an issue or a relationship if problem or a financial problem, and you're literally focused on that problem, that's the moment you've got to turn and literally
Mm.
turn towards Jesus. Like, no, move your head and just look towards him. Hold his hand. Like the moment you do that, it's like, okay, it's not about this problem. It's not about this person. It's not about not having enough money and not having the right health. That's there. But if I focus on that, it just gets worse. And if I think I have the solution, it's going to get even worse. So I just turn and I literally visualize like I'm looking at him, like he's in front of me and I'm staring at him and he's just holding his hand out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to grab his hand. And the more I can do that, the easier my life becomes.
Yes. Yes. But it's not easy to do. Like it comes with its challenges, but you're absolutely right. So much easier.
So much. It does come with challenge because you have to have faith.
Yep.
You have to let go of controlling it all.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you got to be thrown into situations where you don't have a choice but to follow him, to hand it over to him, to give it to him, That's why I think a lot of people, they come to Christ when they're in really bad, dire straits.
Yes.
Like my girlfriend, Brandy, I mean, the only reason she went to God and Jesus is because she had cancer.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and so thank God she did because it brought me to him, you know? What do you do besides your podcast?
I work with folks doing coaching, but more embodiment,
Okay.
um, work, business related things, but
Okay.
and retreats. But
Oh,
things are
cool.
changing.
Yay. Yes, they
Things
are.
are changing, but they can't not,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I find now, before doing anything, and there can be conflict at times, but just asking, how can I do this with the purest heart, with the purest intentions, to be a reflection of you, to have you be part of it
Yes.
is huge.
God, that is what I've been doing too. Like, even before this podcast, it was like, "Okay, Jesus, I want you to I want you to take
Yeah.
the lead. Like, you work through me." And everything I do now is like, it has that intention of, um, letting my vessel, me being here, um, for the God and Jesus to work through it.
Mm.
Work through me, work through me. I'm gonna get out of the way, work through me.
In an
Um,
inviting way
yes.
as well.
Yeah, in an exciting way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Lorie.
changed everything. It's been so fun. I wish we lived closer. We could hang out and have coffee and talk for hours. We would
I
never
feel like
leave.
you're coming back.
Yeah, 100%. Part 2, part 3, part 4.
We're
Call
gonna
it the Jesus series.
uh it could be.
Yeah, I know. I would love to. I mean, literally, it's all I wanna talk about.
I know. And it's interesting too. I just love where you want to soften things, because there is such a charge around it, but there doesn't have to be,
No.
right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's part of why we're doing this and we get to do this
Yeah.
podcast and we get to share
Yeah.
this with people is, hopefully it softens people a little bit more.
Mm.
Um yeah. It's been such an honor. I've just loved this conversation. I mean,
Ooh,
it's just so good.
me too. And thank you so much for being on the Heart Path podcast and for sharing your experience with with Jesus, with Yeshua, once again, whoever we're going to call it, God,
Yeah.
all of the words, the embodiment of unconditional love that is available to everyone. Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to do anything.
No.
But
Aw, thank you,
yeah.
Lorie. And I guess we'll see you back for part 2 whenever.
Yes, 100%. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for everyone that's listened. And yeah, let's do a part 2
Yeah.
and part 3.
And 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Times infinity.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Mwah.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. And before you go, I wanted to offer you an opportunity for reflection and contemplation. Was there anything in this episode that inspired you or that you can use in your life moving forward? If so, what was it? Was there something about this episode that made you feel uncomfortable, charged, perhaps even triggered? Was there anything in this episode that was brought up that has left you feeling seen and understood? You can have a moment to bring these reflections into the sacred space of your heart or to journal, and you can share them with me on social media. I'd love to hear how this episode impacted you. If you enjoyed this episode, please share with a friend, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you. Lots of love. Mwah!